everybody. Let's do another story. So, my parents, they get married, and I don't think they were ready for what they were getting into, and I don't think they were mature enough to handle the responsibility of it all. So, just a little background story. I had an uncle got killed in a car wreck when he was 23, and he worked on the farm with Grandpa. He had his own farms too. They kind of worked together, and so Grandpa needed help. Lord knows the whole world's kind of erupted, from the tragedy, but he also needs help. Crops were coming in, everything else. So they put an ad in the local newspaper. Guy answers the ad, gets the job, comes out to the farm. That would be my father. Meets my mom. I think he kind of wanted to be a farmer too, so maybe in his mind this will work out great. I'll marry this girl, I'll start farming. And he's passed now, and I have no ill will towards him. There's a lot of funny stories of things like growing up, and we'll get to that right now or in just a second. But he was abused growing up. He stuttered really, really bad, and so a lot of times I've heard him talk just like a radio announcer, just perfect. And then there's been times I've seen like my grandpa ask him a question, and it's and so after my parents had split up, came up one day at the eating table like, it's bad to have a stuttering problem and all that. And Grandpa said, well, he wouldn't stutter if he didn't lie. And I'm like, what, Grandpa? And he's like, I can't say that in front of you, son. I was like, no, I get what you're saying. But like literally sometimes, and I got a cousin that's the same way. When he starts stuttering real bad, well, watch out. He's building it in his mind. That is not to say that all people that stutter are that way, by no means. It's terrible. But that was our way of knowing if I'm a junior, if senior was telling the truth. So let's get into this. Growing up, he would, as a kid, I would ask him questions when he was around. Because as a kid, if you don't know something, we're supposed to ask our parents or our adults around, hey, why is the sky blue? Why are clouds white? Why does the river run? Why is water in the water? Why is the water in the river cold? Or whatever. All these crazy questions that kids ask, and I would ask them question after question. And everybody, let me give you one word of advice. If you don't know the real answer to the question that your kid is asking you, there is no shame in saying, I don't know. Or maybe make it a family activity. Let's look up the answer together. My grandmother had all these encyclopedias. We could have looked it up in an encyclopedia and found the true answer to whatever question I was asking. But he would just make up something. And as a kid, you don't know. So as I'm growing up in school and teachers are asking questions, the same questions I've asked my father growing up, I'm literally looking like a water boy. Everything's like, my daddy said, my daddy says, the alligator's got a medulla oblongata. I mean, just these craziest answers. And the teachers are looking at me going, how can this kid be so bright and answer some questions so dumbly or so stupidly? Sorry, that was dumb to say that, but so stupidly. So anyway, for a while, my parents would split and get back together. Split, get back together. It was like a multi-year cycle with them. 1 year on, 1 year off, 2 years on, 2 years off, whatever. But every time we moved to all these crazy places, they would lose half my stuff in my bedroom. Like if I had 4 boxes of toys, because that's all you got as a kid, your toys. You don't care about your clothes. I mean, when you're really young, you don't. But this is my toys. This is my prized possessions. My Transformers, my Matchbox, my Hot Wheels. We'd lose half my stuff every time we moved. But we never, ever lost this picture that was hanging above our kitchen table. No matter where the house was, that picture always made it. And as a kid, I was like, there must be something significant about this picture. We can't lose this thing. So I said to my father, I said, hey, who's that in the picture up there? And he says, oh, that's my grandfather. That'd be your great-grandfather. Thinking, wow. And it was a picture of this guy praying at a table and a loaf of bread and a window and all this stuff, nice picture. So whatever. That's why we can't get rid of it, because it's family. It's old family. So now let's fast forward 22, 23 years. I get married. On one of our anniversaries, we went to Gatlinburg. So we go to Gatlinburg and we're whatever, doing all the stuff there. and we're just shopping down that like long angled hill in Gatlinburg, all the little shops. And in the middle is like a picture gallery. So we go into the picture gallery, and we're looking around and everything, and all of a sudden, wouldn't you know it, there's a picture of my great grandfather in this picture gallery. And I'm stunned. And I'm not stunned because it's my great grandfather. I'm stunned because I've realized it's just another lie I've been told, and I've just, the light's gone off. So I just walk outside. And secretly I'm mad. I'm like, this dude has got me again. You know? So I walk outside, wife walks out a minute or two after me, and she's like, are you okay? I was like, you ain't gonna believe this. She's like, well, what is it? What is it? And I said, they got a picture in there of my great grandpa sitting on the wall above all them coppery looking pictures. He's up there at the top. She says, what? So she walks right back in. She says, come with me. So I follow her. She says, which picture is it? I said, it's that one right there. And she says, Glenn, that's called Breaking Bread. That's like probably one of the most used pictures in the South in everybody's kitchen. And so once again, if your kid asks you a question, just give them the real answer. There was no need in telling little Glenn that that was his great-grandfather. So, I tell this story one day at work. And everybody's laughing, because this, man, Glenn, you're an idiot when you're growing up. And I was. And so my buddy Harrison, his wife now was his girlfriend at the time, but she's a good painter. She's a phenomenal painter. So for Christmas, I'm sitting in his cubicle all day, and he has been slowly taking pictures of me, right? Whatever, and sending them to her. I don't know nothing about this. But at Christmas, she recreates this entire portrait with me in it. And instead of a loaf of bread on the table, there's a Bible, like the other picture had, and it had a tomato sandwich and a Mountain Dew, two of my favorite things, FYI. And the note with it was, Glenn, just because your father lied to you, you can set the record straight and tell your kids the same thing, and it will always be a picture of the family hanging up above their table. And I was like, cry, it was so awesome. But I got some good people in my world.